please brace yourself for a lot of back and forth between these slides and some of the Claude Code and other AI workflows that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, what are we going to chat about? We are going to chat about acing analytics interviews with AI. Actually, it'd be pretty cool in the chat if you all can share which domain are you from. Are you from data science, an analyst, or product, or even maybe, design if there are some. That'd be pretty cool to know. And hi, Arshan, let me know. I can't see the screen as much. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, we got a lot of product, got some data, we had the sales, product analytics,
Oh, nice.
Intelligence,
engineering,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
a lot
But
of product data science. Yeah.
nice, nice. So whichever domain you are, guys, you can imagine yes, we're going to talk about interviews specifically, but obviously interviews do test your analytical skills, and which means learning how to deal with data. So anyone and everyone who looks at data is probably going to get benefit from this session, or at least that's a hope. Okay, so let's get started. Before we move on, let's have a quick question to you all. Let's say your company launched a free trial. This is a question that it's a typical question that we get in an interview, probably product and analytics interviews. Your company launched a free trial for its premium tier for 3 months. 3 months ago, signups are 40% above target, revenue is 50% below target. What would you do? Let's say this was the question asked to you guys. Can you choose which one you would choose in A, B, C, or D here? We kind of gave you some hints about why you'd pick it, probably. This is a different style I'm trying to do this time, but it'd be cool to
We
know.
got a lot of B's
Right.
coming in.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So
Hey, I also had another question for you, Sravya.
uh-huh.
I had a question from, is this just for helping us with like analytics questions or also with like product sense questions?
That's a great. This is probably going to be slightly more towards analytics, but all the material that we are going to talk about, how we generated with Claude Code and AI, it could absolutely be used even for product sense. So, and the lightning lesson is in the lieu of a course that we have around AI analytics for builders, and that is absolutely something that you could understand more from like analytics standpoint, and what we share as part of that work would help you with product sense as well. So maybe we could see somewhere to the end of the session. I'd love to know for the product sense folks if how much you thought this was beneficial. But I would say it's slightly leaning more towards analytics. Okay, cool. Okay, looks like we do have a good chunk of folk here who would go with clarifying questions, which is the right answer. And I wanted to set you up for success, guys. So great that you chose this. Now, before going into the major workflows or, the lightning lesson, I want to basically share with you what AI can build and how it can give you the right frameworks that set you up for success for interviews in this space. Okay? Bear with me while I share my screen. And hi, I'm Sean. Please let me know if there are any questions in regards to what I'm sharing. You can pause me anytime. Okay, so today's interview, we are choosing DoorDash. DoorDash, for people who are not aware from other parts of the world, I think it does have like affiliates in Europe, but DoorDash is a marketplace company where you have three-sided marketplace where there are dashers, consumers, and merchants. It's a food, delivery and food pickup service. It's a pretty popular, I think for people from India, Swiggy and Zomato are one of them. So we are picking DoorDash today. So this is the final output that I have on a plan of, let's say you're a staff data scientist and this is your interview prep brief. This is the company intel, and it took these as the metrics. If you're a staff data scientist, if you're a senior, and if your strength is metrics and your gap is experimentation and it's a three-sided marketplace, this would be like a prep plan for you, an interview prep brief. Metric trees this, I would say, is something that's absolutely like, at least the first time I saw it, I was in love with these metric trees. What is the top metric and what all metrics contribute to it? So I thought, and not just that metric, you have for every other important metrics, and like what are the guardrails for each of them and stuff. And then for experimentation, what type of experimentation happens? Like, when do you do this? This is almost like a brief, like a cheat sheet doc on what Claude Code or AI helped you to understand how you want to go about, preparing for your interview. And this is like a 7-day plan. Do this on day 1, do this on day 2, do this on day 3, do this on day 4 and 5, and communication rules, practice, and a rubric on how it goes about it. So this is not the final one. There are a lot of details that it helps you with. These are a bunch of docs. It basically creates a bunch of skills and agents, research agents, that goes and helps you mine data from internet that's publicly available about DoorDash, and helps you create these things. The DoorDash earning reports and public metric analysis, like a deep dive about a staff PS interview, what is uniquely hard about it. I took staff data scientist as my trigger to generate these things, but you could generate them with any title that you would want, specifically in the analytics area. DoorDash internal metrics, what are the North Star metrics? What are their drivers? Look at this really cool, metric trees it generated, and a bunch of these files. We'll go into the depth of it at the end, but I wanted to share you all these things that, like, on the day of interview, what's a cheat sheet? Like, all of these were generated by Claude Code to help you with prep. And we finally have also a Copilot that works with you to do mock interviews. So this is what we'll be sharing in the end part of the demo, but I wanted to share with you a flavor of what's coming next. Awesome. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation and get started. Okay, so now that you saw what can AI build for you, I would probably break it into 4 parts. It's going to basically help you understand, help you take where you are today, what does the interview have, how many days you are into the interview, and what are the strengths and weaknesses according to who you are. And once you share with them, what it does, it basically, the first thing that it does is goes and runs a bunch of skills and agents to build these, research files, deep research. It does deep research in multiple areas and build these files for you to help you prep. And as soon as the prep material is in, it helps you plan for how do you want to go and, prep. Like, when do you read what doc? How many days do you have? Is this too much of a prep or is this too little? The stuff like that. It helps you pace yourself towards the interview date. And as part of that, the most important thing is helps you practice. Actually have a mock interview. It's a Claude project that I have right now, but helps you actually go through the practice sessions, take the feedback, and help you change your plan again. So this is the big loop of the entire interview process that you could work with AI to build this. Okay, so now how was this built? Whatever I shared with you, how did I go ahead and build this, right? So everything you just saw was generated using frameworks from our Maven course. So we have a Maven course that's coming up literally in 5 days. So it's called AI Analytics for Builders. So what did we do there? We actually have these 5, different weeks, like different topics that we share as part of the course: question framing, AI analytics tools and workflows, metrics and root cause analysis, experiment design and analysis, storytelling and communication. So it takes all of this. The 6th bonus week, guys, as part of the course, we'll have an interview prep toolkit. Everything that I'm sharing today would be part of that as well. So it took all of these things and it condensed into all these files that it prepared. Basically, it structured how you scope any question. It powers the agents that build the prep on how it's taking what analytical, workflows that needs to be questioned for DoorDash interview per se. and then creates the metric decompositions based on what is the right way of doing the metric tree. So we talk about metric trees and metric root cause. So it uses that information to create this for your interview prep. And then generate experiment specific questions, because we have a big giant experiment design and analysis section in the course. And then it teaches how to answer structure and framework. So how I got to where I got with those prep files was because I was sitting on this giant repo of the, like, really rich content from the course, and it helped me bring, those like documents into like reality. That said, I do have some giveaways for you because you signed up and you are like listening to us either live or on video. I do have something that I could share with you that you could use today, if for some reason you can't make it to this course. So a quick plugin about the course. One very cool thing that we do with the course is we give you a repo called AI Analyst Plus. It's contains 43 skills, 29 agents, and so many other things. And it helps you from question framing to storytelling, the entire thing. We actually run a bootcamp as well to help you understand the details of all of this. We share some of this as part of our course as well. But you get this entire repo where you could take this repo and plug in into your company and work with it probably. So you would also get the 6-week bonus course, is the bonus course that we have, because if you see it's a 5-week one, it's about the interview co-pilot. It helps you coach, practice, demo, simulate any mock interview that you have. And you also have an interview prep pipeline. There's 7 skills and 21 agents that helps you create these documents and details for yourself. By the way, before we move on to the rest, I want to let you know that we have a special discount for you guys who are attending this course. It's called Claude 30. You get a $540 off. This is our first ever course in this area. We did a bootcamp one. It was highly successful. We got 4.9 rating on that. And we aim to deliver the same amount of value in AI analytics for builders. So please check this out. And if you're interested, you could use this code to get this off. Okay, so now let's talk about what interviewers actually score you on today, right? So most candidates think interviews like test knowledge. I mean, it's not wrong. They do test your knowledge, but what they test you on, I would think is majorly about structured thinking. I myself, I think I've conducted at least hundreds of hiring manager interviews. I look at these scorecards from data scientists from my team, and all of the really good candidates were technically amazing. What they lack is the structured way of approaching a problem, right? So these dimensions of structured thinking, the scope, the metric, the decomposition, the trade-offs, the decision, I think these are in these areas. What people generally miss is they just jump straight into answers. Now they do ask some clarifying questions, but just for the sake of it, because they're told to ask, and not get into the depths of the reasoning of the exact metrics to go after. And they kind of skip the decomposition part of what a metric, the metric trees cover that, right? Like, let's say if you talk about revenue is not a number just by itself. It is a combination of so many other like important metrics. For example, users into conversion into ARPU. So knowing this detail and also communicating that detail in that structured way is what is basically going to help you in these analytics interviews. I'm giving one-side recommendations with like not looking at ROI and cost analysis. And also, most of the people always miss the decision, like ending with what is the clear and specific recommendation that you have. All of these things, I think, helps you get a better score for your interview. And the rubric gets tougher and tougher as you are interviewing to more senior roles versus junior roles. Structured thinking just gets the highest priority as you get into the senior roles. Okay, let's think, I have a bad example and a good example for you guys. Looks like we have a very good crowd today. Probably you would go for the good analysis, good example, but just in case I wanted to share like what a bad example looks like, right? So remember, like if you have this question, the question that I asked, let's say you didn't clarify which product, which tier, what time window, you basically did like a basic V1, like a first level of clarification, and you did not go into the depth of different layers of clarification. That is also like an alarm that, oh, this person's not thinking through this, right? And then regarding metrics, so understanding like the detail of what that metric actually means, like understanding its decomposition, understanding what are the trade-offs, before, like, I'm talking about like cannibalization. These are some things that people like look for when we are grading for like how good the answers were for that interview, right? And especially the decision, like I said, most people often miss that, like optimize the what and when. And how do you want to, like, give a recommendation to the VP of product, or, to the like VP of engineering around, hey, this is what we saw and this is why it's not as important, but I would like for us to go do this and this. Ensuring that you end the loop with the decision is like the most important thing. For example, let's look at a 5x5 answer structure. So understanding the scope, is it basically the total revenue, or per trial revenue, total revenue, or per trial user? Like, what is this, right? Understanding more or clarifying more. And then understanding like what is the 40% sign up lift from? Is it organic or paid? Because each of them would lead to an entirely different set of hypotheses. And you basically want to know all the details about what the question is about before you dive into any of the next layers into the interview. Okay. Metrics. I think I shared this with you in the revenue one. So what is revenue specifically to that question? So number of trial starts, the conversion of those trials, because not trials probably, especially, they're going to be free, right? You're not going to get money out of it right away. So the conversion aspect of trial is the most important one, and you don't want to miss that. So trial starts into conversion into average revenue per user. You talk about this, that in your interview basically gives the interviewer an idea how you're thinking, how you're structuring. And like this, like I said, this gets more and more important as you grow in your career into staff or senior levels. Decomposition, like lower intent users flooding in, check sign up source mix. Like trial not showing the value, check feature adoption in the first 7 days. Pricing friction, check checkout abandonment. These are the multiple, hypotheses that you could generate from that metric that you decomposed into. Like, and you could generate each of these hypotheses. And I don't have all the detail here, but you basically talk to your interviewer, confirm with the interviewer, and ask them, hey, these are a bunch of things we could go into. Which direction do you want me to go in, right? And that basically tells the interviewer that, yeah, this person really thought through all the details. And they are asking me to, for this interviewer's sake, which area do you want to get into? And then most important thing is also talking about trade-off, because it's not always one way or the other. You basically ensure that you get a product out. It could be cannibalizing another product. You get a product out, get a product feature out. It could be a lot of cost on engineering, and the ROI is probably not high. So what are these trade-offs? And ensuring that you talk about them the one after the other is what that will help you, right, in these interviews. And the final most important thing is the decision, like I already said. So basically, this answer gets this is trying to condense the entire interview, but this answer, if you cover these areas, would definitely get you to a good structure, way beyond knowledge. And if the co-pilot that I'm going to present with you later is going to score you based on how you did in all these areas, and let's say you didn't do well, it'll basically help you by giving you feedback, and you process that feedback and come back again and try to see how you're doing for your next levels of, mock interviews that you do with the co-pilot. Okay, I've been talking a lot. Any questions or anything, Hi or Sean, in the chat that you'd want to raise before we move on?
I think we can move on.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so I just categorized into the top 5 type of questions. I know I talked about data science here, guys. I know we do have a bunch of product people. Like, I know that I've done a lot of product manager analytics interviews as well, and they're pretty similar. I would say data science, you expect them getting into more of statistical part in case we get into a technical depth, like a causal inference. But at the higher level of analytics, I would probably have similar style for even product folks. Yeah. So like I said, though it says DS, I think this is something that even product folk can definitely utilize. So what are the type of questions that we see here? Measuring success, basically, how would you measure if a dash pass is working or not, right? Like I said, we are using DoorDash as an example for most of our questions here. And this, like each area or type of questions gives you an example of what could be this type's example for DoorDash as a company, okay? And then diagnosis. Let's say orders dropped 15% last week. Why did they drop? Is one type of question. And the other type of question is experiment design, like design an A/B test for this checkout flow. And launching or not is basically, should we expand DoorDash to rural areas is one example of that. And for improving, how would you improve dasher retention? That's like, one style of like an interview question that you get asked. And one other thing I want to say is there is a possibility of an interview covering like more than one of these type, or in some interviews, all these could be a possibility too. Basically, you start, the question could be around, hey, we are thinking about launching this new feature. How do you want to go ahead and measure success? So you talk about metrics, and then you talk about, okay, now that we have these metrics that you want to measure success with, how do you go about designing an experiment? And once the experiment, they'll give you like, a fake, some experiment result data. And they would be like, now that you have these results, how would you evaluate these experiment results? And can you give a decision of launch or not? And after that could be, hey, now that we did what we could with the first design, what could we do with the next layer of experiments we could run in the same space? So there is basically a possibility of combining different types of these into like one single thing interview as well. And like I said, always, classify the question, know which dimensions to hit, and then structure your answer. Okay.
Sravya, we got a question from Vishnu. If someone were to use this tool to prepare for use cases, product sense across, so I guess so for example, like across different domains like healthcare, finance, would it still cover those use cases?
Absolutely. So today I'm giving you an example of DoorDash to make it easy for you to land these things better. But the tools that we're going to provide, so there are going to be 2 sets of tools. What is giveaway for free today? Because you attended the sign up, you came in and you're listening to us. You would get something. It's a free like giveaway for you guys. If you join our course, we have a 6-week bonus that we're going to share with you. You give it any company that you want to join. You give it the type of role you want to join, and you give it the levels of experience you have, and it's going to basically tailor the prep documents for you. It's going to basically tailor what you need to read, how to prep for. It's going to tailor the plan for you. How do you want to tackle the interview? And it's also going to help you with the mock interviews that you could do. It's an entire system almost. I mean, to be honest, that could be a course, like a 5-week course by itself. But we are trying to get as much, information packed into this and share it with you as part of bonus. That will be something that is paid, which will be part of the course. If you take the course, you get that bonus as well. So you get something for free today, and you get something if you join the course. And both of those would be able to cover any domain or area that you want to go after. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So how did we get to this 5 by 5 structure? basically you can see a pattern following through here. That's the reason why we built the Analytics for Builder course the way we built it, right? Because those are the most important things in analytics today. Wherever you are, you could be a data person, like actually in as a data role, or you could be like a product person working with data. You could be an eng working with data. You could be like a designer who probably, or a researcher working with data. These are like different stages of type of workflows you work with when you work with data. So all of those are part of each week of our course structure, and this is what we cover. So like I said, because you're part of this course, part of this lightning lesson today, the free workshop, you get 30% off, which is $540 off, guys. So it's pretty a great offer right there. So please, if you're interested, leverage this opportunity of this discount, and we'd love to see you in the paid course. Okay, so how much time do we have? 12:30. We originally had this for 45 minutes, but we changed it to 1 hour, I think, Sean. So I have 30 more minutes. What I'll try to do in this 30 more minutes is go through with you how I built this system to some extent. What goes, maybe how I built is like an entire course, the bootcamp that we run, but probably I'll share with you the skeleton of what goes into this interview prep ecosystem that we built and that we'll share with you, right? I'll share that with you. And then probably I'll try to share all type of documents I briefly went over with you in my first like a flash demo. Let's get into more detail there. And I'll share with you the Copilot. Some of those instructions are something that I'll give away to you guys because you're either watching this live or like in a recording because you signed up. And at the end, last 15 minutes, probably, or maybe 20 minutes, I'll try to see if we can cover this in 10 minutes. We'll have for questions.
Hey,
Cool.
Sravya, one question for you. And you're probably gonna answer right now because I think you're gonna teach everyone how they can kind of build it for themselves. But from Reedy, did you use Claude Code for this, or did you use like Claude Project for this?
Okay, I use Claude Code, guys. We kind of are smitten, both Sean, Hi, and us. We are like, today morning, Claude was not working, and I was like, hey, it's not working for me. Is it not working for you guys? It's like, we can't work without Claude now. So anyway, shorter answer, yes, I use Claude Code to build these things, but I have a free version of this that you could use in your Claude Web if for some reason you're not comfortable with Claude Code yet or something. So do not worry. I'll try to give something for you guys if you don't work with Claude Code. But I absolutely like suggest you to check out Claude Code. We have a bunch of free resources, guys. It's something that I'll share with you later, but since I got the opportunity, I'll share with you. We have a free Claude Code repo that you could use today to get started. It'll definitely help you get started to do some if you want to try it out. We have a bootcamp coming later in May where we will try to handhold you and help you with getting on board into Claude Code and all of that too. Okay, so we don't have as much time. Let's jump into how we built this and what goes into it. Where's my anti-gravity? Okay. So what you're looking at is my anti-gravity screen. So I'm using anti-gravity here. This is our IDE. You could see on the left, this is our AI Analytics for Builders repo. This is something Sean, Hai, and we run all our stuff in. And we are in Lightning Lesson 9 today, dealing with interview prep with AI. So this is something that I already had looked at. So what does it do? It basically reads all my skill files in this Lightning lesson that I prepared, and it generates an ASCII architecture of the diagram showing the entire pipeline of how we built this. Let's see. Live demo is always very interesting. It doesn't come out sometimes the way you want it, but we'll see if this one does or not. I was briefly sharing with you, right, in my demo, the architecture behind the magic. So it's currently going through it live, going through all the skills and agents that we have. Like you could see a bunch of these things on the side. It's going through that and creating, it's going to create this, like, ASCII architecture for you. Okay, let's see if it's actually creating. It's not. Okay, so these are the bunch of skills and agents that basically we did. Company Intel Builder. So this is a skill. This someone just asked, right, Vishnu, or someone about the company and role. So this is where you give it. You basically give the company intelligence. So it researches the business model, revenue, competitive landscape, data team focus, and all of that. And it does, and these are the 3 agents that this skill calls: earnings researcher, blog synthesizer, competitive analyst. And it basically takes the input, whatever you gave it, and creates these things. Okay, cool. So I was thinking it's not giving me the ASCII architecture, but it did give me. That's cool. So it basically was giving me in text format what all it did. So the metric tree builder one, it basically, you could see this here, right? So stage 1 is the company Intel builder, because it also does it in a way that it uses the first stage's input into the next few stages as well, because that's the reason company Intel builder comes first: earnings researcher, blog synthesizer, competitive analyst. This system does really well for companies that has a lot of information available outside. For example, DoorDash is very good with its blogs. It has a very good data blog. It has a very good ML blog. And hence I have a rich source of information that I could, do to help get this information. For example, if the company that you're interviewing for doesn't have this information, right? There is also a parallel, the company, knowing what company it is, it basically searches for the business models in and around that company's research area. For example, healthcare, let's say it's a niche company that you're going for, but it does go and look at the research from the companies like the company that you're going for in that area. For now, DoorDash has a lot of stuff about it available in public. So this is the system that it created for me to build those thorough prep documents that we used to create mock interviews. Cool. So this is the first one, and this is the stage 2. In parallel, it basically runs these 2 in parallel, apparently: the metric tree builder and experimentation researcher, and what all things that go around it. And these are the stage 3 it runs. Framework of cheat sheets. I'm a big cheat sheet believer. I used to do that as part of my master's, like bachelor's. As soon as I learned something, put that in a cheat sheet, try to look at it. Especially with our busy lives right now, these are very useful. And next comes the stage 4. This is like a cool thing that I do for HTML. You don't probably need it if you think you have a plan already set up, but I generally think that's an easier way to extract all the information from these files into something simple to start with, and grok and take that information in, so that you could use it for once you get the basic idea of what all are available, then you can go and double click on each of them to learn more. And then you have the final deliverables. It says markdown files, but you could always create a PDF out of it. It's going to have 12 files and, all of these things. Okay. So this is what we have. Let's try something. Let's ask about ASCII architecture for metric trees. Metric trees that you built. Let's see if what it generates, but yeah. So what I'm asking it to do is go through one of the files. We are used to, at least I'm used to, reading through like PDFs or printed files or something. But if you have all the time, not the time, if you're comfortable with working with Claude Code directly, you could literally do all your learning on Claude Code itself, guys. Like, I absolutely recommend you do this. Look at this. It basically gives me what is the North Star, the gross order value, total order values into average order value. And what is total order? Active consumers, order frequency. It also gives you, these are the numbers that it pulled from the recent earning report. Some of them that are available outside, some of them that are not. And yeah, It basically goes and does this decomposition of these active use, again, within active consumers, there's so much more, right? You have new users, retained users, churn users. This is the growth, thing right here, the entire growth equation. What each new users have: organic, paid, referral program, retained users, the Dash Pass subscribers, non-Dash Pass subscribers, win back campaigns. If you know about DoorDash, you would understand that it got to as detailed as it can get. This is like really powerful. If we knew all this information and go with this depth of information to an interview, I think the chances of, winning is pretty high, or the chances of like actually clearing the interview. Okay, so we have this. So I just shared, what did I do? I shared with you the system that built this prep material, right? And I also shared with you the content of what goes into one of the prep material it built to get you to understand that, hey, you could go read the prep file, but you could also work directly with Claude Code to understand and go through the information that's in this file, right? Let me stop sharing and go to the prep docs themselves. Where are we? Okay, so remember I was briefly going through this. Now let's get into the details, guys. I was absolutely impressed by this. Where are we? Man, I have so many windows. Google Chrome. System. Where it is? Yeah, I think I'm sharing the right one. Where are we? 12:40. Sean and hi, let me know when I'm going too much. I'll try to wrap this up in like 5 to 10 minutes.
Cool. You're good.
Okay, awesome. So look at what it did. DoorDash earning reports and public metric analysis, quarterly performance summary 2025. It went through the entire thing. It gave me what metrics DoorDash reports publicly. Marketplace GOV, gross order value. It gives you the formula. It goes beyond what's obviously available. This is something that it helped you understand. The revenue, adjusted EBITDA. So these are some things that probably a finance analyst who could go to DoorDash can also get benefited by, right? Because I'm sure this is more like terms specific to the area. And how DoorDash talks about business. These things are very important when you get when you're getting hired into higher roles, strategic roles, or staff roles, or like manager roles. These gets like even more important because you not only know about the area, the data domain area or the product area, but you also know about how the company is doing and how the company is communicating outside and how it wants to talk about its business. So my God, it just goes into like a full depth here. And then a deep dive into a Staff DS interview. It talks about network effects, very important aspect of DoorDash. So if you're not going to be DoorDash, if your interview is going to be into another space, let's say probably maybe healthcare, maybe there's a lot of causal inference happening there, and it's going to talk about that. But for DoorDash, this is what it created. It's like, look at this, it basically created you a 16-page file. And how do you talk about this? But another thing that I really loved about this is not just going to help you for your interviews. This is just going to help you do a better job at wherever you are as well, right? Because it helps you understand how big tech is actually approaching data. And probably there are lots of things in this that you could incorporate in your current role, right? So though we're going to talk, this is like an interview course, how, as part of your research of different companies and domains, it's just going to make you a very, strong analytics person in your own company. So this is the brief representation that we saw in Claude Code. Like, look at this, the total revenue piece. It created, I think, metric trees full decomposition. It created a metric tree for every important area: revenue decomposition, delivery time. Look at this, total delivery time, order placement to Dasher assignment, order processing time, Dasher matching time, available Dasher density in the area, Dasher accept rate, batching decision, Wow. So like look at the detail here. Wait at the restaurant and the restaurant prep time. Accuracy of DoorDash's prep time prediction. Restaurant order queue. Like you take any area, it just covers the full detail of the area. And this is the reason why the interview copilot that we build on top of these documents is going to serve you as an actual interviewer because it has so much information, like a staff data scientist or a staff product manager in DoorDash, that it's going to help you be very honest with how your answers are and it grades you well. Okay, so I can go on. These are a bunch of files that it generated. So it saw that Jessica Lax, who's Chief Analytical Officer at DoorDash, she did a lot of interviews, podcasts, and talks about her team, and it talks about what the leader cares about. Yeah, so many like details here that you could prep, but let me just do this quickly. So this is the Copilot that you could build. I'm going to share you a mini version of this Copilot. The max version of this with all the documents that we created, all the prep and adding into that, and the instruction that you add. Look at the instruction. I called it a DS in product case interview Copilot. You could also call it a PM, product case interview Copilot. And you have a deep knowledge of all of these things, what different modes you have. You have multiple modes. You have a practice mode. You have a coach mode. Like all of these instructions I put into this project. And I gave it all a mini version because you can't load all those 15 files in that depth to Claude Pro. At least when I tried this, I was not able to load that detail, but I could load a bunch of these things. So, and it created me this Copilot, and let's test it. And we'll probably end right after testing this. So let's do medium. These are a bunch of tests I wanted to make sure that I did before I shared with you guys. So medium level. Let's try Meta because Meta. So another thing, I didn't give it the prep files of DoorDash here, guys. I gave it the prep file of overall analytics because if I want this Copilot to work for DoorDash specifically, I would give DoorDash specific things. And that would make this even more like specific for the interviewer targeting. But this is like a generic product case interview Copilot. Medium level diagnostics, investigation, diagnostic, analysis. And let me call simulate on this. Simulate is one of the modes. This is my favorite mode. It basically literally, I hope this works. I think it will, but let's see. So this basically simulates the actual interview for you. Let's say Claude Code basically acts as your interviewer, and it also acts as a candidate because look at this. So this is the interviewer. Hey, thanks for joining today. I'm Priya, a senior data scientist at Facebook app at Meta. Today we'll walk through the product case together. Think of it as, so and so. And all we need to do is continue, and it basically gives the scenario again. So I made it in chunks because with in these days we are so inundated with information and text, it's so hard to process. I thought this will basically make it less overwhelming, and we'll see it chunk by chunk, which is the reality, right? This is how it happens in real interviews. So let's do continue again. So they gave the test, and look at this. Now Claude is acting as a candidate. So thanks, Priya. That's a great problem to dig into. Before I jump in, I'd love to ask a couple of qualifying questions. So this is what I was asking. I was telling you guys all along that, hey, ask clarifying questions. Probably most of you are going to ask as you answer, but look at this. So this is how it simulates the whole interview. But let's say, because we are almost out of time, I'll jump out of this and go to the Copilot again, and I'll show you a coach mode of the same thing. Coach, meta, diagnostics, investigation, analysis, maybe. Let's see. Yeah. So what does a coach do? You could also have a practice mode where you talk to it and it basically acts like an interviewer for you, right? So this is the coach mode that it looks at, and here's your question types, recommendation template. It basically tells you what are the qualifying questions to ask, what are the frameworks to follow. It helps basically become a coach for you. I think we're out of time to share other types of things as well. But yeah, there are two other modes, practice mode and a full answer mode, where it gives you the entire thing. Here it's acting like a coach. It's not giving you the full interview, but if you don't have time and you want the entire interview, it could spit out the entire interview for you too. Okay, cool. I'll stop sharing. I went over. I think we have 11 minutes for questions.
All right, a ton of questions. So I'll go with the one that I have scroll all the way up here. So Vishnu asks, I usually use Perplexity Deep Research option for it to create a very detailed document with things I need along with references, etc. So trying to see how this is unique given the non-deterministic nature most of the times. Perplexity does pick up generic blog. So basically, what's the difference between doing a Perplexity deep research versus the multi-agent orchestration you were demoing?
So the difference basically is, so what I covered, yes, Perplexity is pretty good. I've tried it. It's been a while I tried it, being honest. I've been on Claude Code these days. But what you saw, a part of it is the deep research in the Perplexity covers, but there's a big part of it that it uses the current rich database that we have from our coursework. Like, how do you build metric trees? How do you build all of that? I think, I mean, we should try the newer Perplexity, but I'm not sure if Perplexity out of the box could give us that today, because we put our lot of knowledge about this analytics workflows and it has all the information in it. It gives, I think, much richer documents to prep for, and the practice that you could do with the mock interview copilot.
I think, and then just the other thing to add is like just pretty much anything with Claude Code that I really like it for is just that you can make it hyper bespoke to whatever you're working on, whoever you are, give it lots of information about yourself, what you care about, and then it's like really repeatable once you build all those workflows out. So this has nothing to do with interviews, but like my wife used to use Perplexity to do a lot of research around ceramics, and then I finally got her to do like use Claude Code the other day to do stuff like, oh, well, my glaze get all screwed up if I burn it at this heat. I don't know what all these things are, but she's like, has now these repeatable functions where she's like, oh, actually, this is way better than Perplexity because I can get it go way faster. But I truly haven't used Perplexity for like a few months now.
Awesome.
Cool. Another really good question, and I'll chime in after you do as well, since I have thoughts. Nitin asked, just curious, do you find yourself skimming these files more often than not? And then the clarifying question on that is, sometimes there's a lot of text, so I wonder if anyone else ends up losing interest and starts to skim the deep dive reports.
That's a good question. I mean, this is something that I think I was telling you, right? When I was doing the interview mode in the Copilot, I tried to make it as less text as possible, like because I'm overwhelmed with text right now. It's just too much to deal with. So I see where the question's coming from. But to me, I do it in chunks, and that's the reason I shared with you the Claude Code workflow, right? You could literally go to Claude Code and talk to it and tell me, hey, give me the metric tree for this. And you read that, you study that, and then go to the next one. So the research that it generates is going to sit in your repository, and you're going to you can work with Claude Code to get chunks of it in chunks, which is less overwhelming for you. And when you have the energy and focus, you could obviously go and do it, the entire thing yourself, like read through it. But you could basically customize how much text you want out of all these documents.
I also really like using like ASCII diagrams or telling it to make like HTML diagrams and stuff if you're like a visual learner, just to like break up any workflows. Like I've learned that anything in life is basically some sort of a workflow diagram, and Claude is really good at translating that into something interpretable.
Yeah, and one thing I would say too is find a length that you're comfortable reading and just have it sort of like get to that length, it meaning like AI help you get to that length. But don't skip the part of actually reading the text and like be very critical of what you're reading. The thing that probably some people have heard me talked about is that there's been a research report about brain atrophies with the use of AI. The subtext there is um, if for people who don't think and just rely on AI directly as a one-shot thing or like whatever output it gives them, they just use, yes, atrophy happens. For people who are critical and who is using it as like a partner, as an interactive peer, then they actually become even sharper. So there's that very important the component. So don't be lazy about it. I guess that's the thing. Find the medium that really works for you and be extremely critical. Okay, we've got another question from Mitali. Will we be learning to build this in any of the boot camps?
So the core concepts of how I did this is how you build agent skills and how we work with Claude Code and the best practices of working with Claude Code. We do cover that as part of our bootcamp that we have, like we handhold, and we do have a version of this being shared in the AI analytics for builders as well. Sean, do you want to take the analytics for builders part of the Claude Code, because I know you're covering that, uh, and how much of it would be the right for the bootcamp one?
Oh yeah, I mean, basically week 2 of our builders course teaches a lot of like the concepts of how this agentic system works. Um, Actually starting to build stuff is around our boot camp, and we're going to be opening up a more advanced boot camp as well to go even deeper into building. So if you're just interested in building Claude Code, like maybe the boot camp, but we're not building that boot camp's not about building like a interview agent workflow per se. But any of those learnings from there can be generalized to build a like we
Yeah,
could do that,
exactly.
but we have breakout time in that where if you wanted to spend it on that and you wanted to talk to us about doing it, then for sure you could.
And you get these out of the box if you join the AI Analytics for Builders. So, I mean, it's pretty cool if you want to go and build them yourself. If you know how to build skills and agents, it's not super complicated. I would say all it needs is like tons of context and tons of information and some creative thought that I know most of you all already are probably great at.
Yeah, I don't know
But
if we have any of our boot camp attendees
Yeah, was about
here,
to.
but I don't know, you could drop in the chat if you think
I
you could
saw a
build that
couple.
now.
Yeah, I'm not going to call them out, but I did see a couple, and they did leave a review on our page as well. Okay, let's see. So next question in boot camp. This is from Ashish Sapra. In boot camp, do you go through a standard project, or can I run the project I want and you would help get it running?
in the Claude Code Bootcamp. So we currently have a bootcamp. We don't have the super advanced one yet. We will have the advanced one soon. But in the one that we share, you basically start building agents and skills yourself and work with we have a lot in the existing free repo if you want to try it out. And we'll share an advanced version of the repo called AI Analyst Plus that has a lot more agents and a lot more skills that you could use to probably, build, like take it and use it in your projects. And we would definitely help you get started there.
Yeah, just honestly perusing our open source repo is a really good way to learn.
Looks like Michelle just shared from our earlier course about how good the course was. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the shout out. Yeah,
Michelle was in cohort 1. That was really fun.
yeah.
Uh, did I miss any question? I think we answered them all.
Did you guys get the question about the
I
privacy side of Claude Code?
I
Oh
think
no.
someone just messaged, if I'm looking at the recent message until you bring the old messages, someone just asked about, I want to get better at experimentation. Would that be covered from scratch? We
Yeah,
do
actually,
have, yeah, go
week
ahead.
4. Yeah, week 4 is all about experimentation. So just to tell you a little about our 5-week course and our bootcamp course, just to tell, I know Sravya already did this, but bootcamp is 2 days, and it's pretty much just like, here's how you build an agentic system in Claude Code, for like folks who haven't tried that before. Our analytics agentic system. Our 5-week course is more about like analytical thinking from end to end. How do you, whether you're a product manager, a data analyst, a data scientist, or engineer designer, like how do you go from like framing questions to building metrics to doing experimentation and causal inference and root cause analysis and segmentation to presenting all of those and getting stakeholder buy-in and sharing it out. We teach all those concepts like a classic kind of data, like product to data class would, but it's all in the context of Claude Code. So like week 4 is all about like experimentation. So someone who's never ran an A/B test can go in there for week 4, learn about how to run A/B tests and learn a few causal inference methods, difference in difference, regression, and propensity score matching. But we then teach you like, here is how you can basically take all the like human judgment and analytical thinking part and then execute it technically with Claude Code. So it's kind of like we're trying to balance like we want to give you extreme agency in the kind of like technical capability to do this, but still have all like the human judgment part in there as well. So you actually know what's going on, if that makes sense. But yeah, week 4 will be the experimentation one. Maybe I'll try and share some stuff out around that in the next few weeks, but that one's pretty cool.
Yeah. There are a couple questions. I think the question again is, you can't use AI in interviews. What if it's for a different company? Like I said, all these are prep material. They help you basically prep for any interview, for any role. And all you do is give it those, that input, like which is the interview that you're going for, what company it is. And you prep for that and you attend the interview. You don't have to, you wouldn't be using AI in the interview, guys. This is for prepping. So I probably not sure if I understood the question wrong.
Another question, what does your course offer beyond the Anthropic Claude offers for free in their Learning Academy? I haven't taken the Learning Academy from Anthropic. I'm going to guess that's a self-paced thing. I don't know if it's live. So this is a cohort-based course. We start and end at the same time. You have your async material that is like up-to-date recordings you watch throughout the week. And then also throughout the week, every Monday, we meet as a class in the morning, us 3 instructors, and then whoever else is in the course. And then we also have 2 additional office hours throughout the week that are time zone dependent, where we answer all questions and work through any concepts that people are having trouble with in terms of the async content, or if you just want to ask any other rando questions. So you have like the live piece of it with the instructors who are going to work specifically with like, if you have questions specific to like what you're doing in your day job, like I'm happy to talk through that with you. And then honestly, the awesome thing about the boot camp was just like all the other learners and builders in there was like an awesome community. Like I'm totally bought into this. Like we can like learn fast, like on our own, doing all this stuff, especially with Claude Code, but we like go way further together as we can learn from each other and kind of leapfrog off of all of each other's kind of input. So that's what we're trying to really build with the cohorts and the community. That's maybe not in the Learning Academy through Claude, but I haven't done that, so I don't know.
I think it's pretty good, the Learning Academy on Anthropic, but they do talk about the generic stuff. So what we are focusing on in our bootcamp and the analytics for builders is the analytics specific use cases. And one I love it myself. The repo that you get if you join these courses, it's going to be a rich repo of all this information that we collected over the years and that we teach in the course. All of that is divided into skills and agents that you could take and probably use it on any project at your company that you're going to like in your workflows. Oh, I need to jump. I just looked at the time. It was great. Hi, I'm Sean. If you
I can stick around and answer questions if there's some more hanging around.
Okay. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll reach out with the free resources, but Sean and I would take next questions. Bye.
Yeah, and we have a free Slack community if you haven't joined. The link is in chat. So I'll paste again. Join us there. Ask whatever questions you have. We can keep answering them there as well.
Yeah, we can answer there too. Do we have other? I'm trying to scroll up to see what else is going on here. So there was a question around like data privacy.
Yeah.
I don't know if whoever asked that question is still here. But so yeah, it's basically like for your company, you're gonna treat, Claude Code like any other kind of software AI product, right? Like you're gonna have to go through like procurement, legal, security, IT to negotiate those contracts, and your organization will have to make up some rules around what you can and cannot put through Claude Code. So like maybe it's totally cool to have like if you have a product to have put like just like clicks and usage data in it or something like that, or like meeting transcripts, but you probably don't want to have like the actual customer data that's privy to them under some contracts. There's other contracts that's like zero data retention, where which like a lot of companies that are building AI product, that's how they do it. They negotiate these ZDR contracts. Then you would be able to leverage it for customer data. But that's really more of a discussion with like, yeah, your legal and security data teams. Do we monetize this product? No, we do. So we don't like, yeah, okay. So I have weird philosophy with Claude Code where like I just like I don't know, man. I don't think products are gonna like I just don't understand how people can monetize products when it's so easy to build products now. So like for us, we just try to give as much of stuff away open source, and then we kind of like have some stuff that we build that is like we haven't updated the new version of the AI analyst yet, right? We're kind of like developing that, but like people in our course have access to that, and then eventually we'll develop some more, and then we'll like push that version out to open source. But our goal is less about like, oh, let's build a product that people can use, and more about like, dang, like I think the whole industry in the data science profession is drastically changing, and we want to basically like empower people with as much agency as they can as possible by leveraging these tools. So they don't kind of like, I don't know, wake up one day and be like, oh shoot, like I gotta get on it now. Um, but yeah, so we're more kind of in that kind of like teaching realm of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like someone else can make this product way better than I can. Anyways, like you guys can make this. If I give you this today, you'll just use it tomorrow and make it way better than I can. So it's like it's pointless for me to try and sell anything.
I think if you join us pretty confidently that if you actually keep what we teach and then keep iterating on it, you'll build something way better.
Well, yeah, we had a dude, Lorian, who was in our class, and he was like, "Oh, hey," he's like in finance, and he was like, "Hey, this is all like in Python and stuff. So I need to see this in like Excel or Google Sheets, and then I want to be able to trace all the formulas back there to validate the numbers." And I was like, "Dang, that's such a good idea. Like, okay, I'll try and work on that." And then he just like after the boot camp, just like emailed me 2 days later and was like, "I did it. Like, can you check it out? Like, where did you go from here?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, like you did it way better than I ever could because you work in finance and you know exactly what that needs." Like I would just be guessing at like what a finance person needs. That's the other part of this. It's like the best person to build the product that you need is you, because you know your job and your workflow and everything that's in your mind better than anyone else. Like I can't build a product for a product manager. I can't build a product for a data engineer. I can build one for a data scientist pretty good. I can't really build like my wife will build any product that she needs better than I can. Like even though I know her better than anyone else in the world, like she still knows herself better. So that's like the other kind of mentality around like product building and who builds what.
Cool. Maybe we'll take one last question and then we'll wrap. Let's see. Vivek asked, when AI is acting as an interviewer, how do you prevent it from being too agreeable? What prompting patterns actually make it push back and probe the way a real interviewer would?
I wish Sravya was here still because I haven't been doing any of the interview
Oh,
stuff.
I can
Okay,
answer
you,
it.
you can answer it.
Yeah. Actually, Vivek, you can actually paste this exact prompt to Claude, and then it will tell you how you can ask it to be different. Try it out.
Yeah, I will say Claude Code is far less sycophantic than say like ChatGPT or any of the AI stuff. Like all the chat stuff is like they have metrics that their companies are built on that are engagement metrics. So if you are working, if you're using ChatGPT, the product team that's building ChatGPT, they go in and they experiment with everything. They look at their metrics every day, and they have metrics that's like daily active users, session times, blah blah blah. And like if ChatGPT is like mean to you, you're gonna drop off. So that's probably why they're making it so sycophantic. Like I'm just guessing. But like for Claude Code, because on average, people want to hear that they're good. Like, right? Like my grandma is gonna be like, hey, look what ChatGPT said to me. Like, it says I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm gonna keep using this. But like Claude Code, like if you're trying to use it for like real productivity and you want it to be hard on you, that's like the magic of the whole like more like personalized agentic system. You can force it to do all of that pretty easily. Okay. We should probably drop. I don't know if there's any other ones in here. Hi. Or people
Um,
can drop it in Slack.
yeah. Join us in the Slack community. Maybe I'll answer this last one. Shravya showed a lot of metrics, businesses, DoorDash docs generated for prep. Do you know how much does it hallucinate? I didn't quite catch the full multi-agent system, but I believe there was a step at the end to kind of like be a fact checker. So you can always bake those sort of like steps in independent of the generation piece to sort of like control quality.
Cool. So we'll send out an email after this with we'll sync up with Sravia and get a bunch of the like stuff that she showed today shared out to everyone here because I know there's a bunch of people asking about that. And then yeah, we'll share out those two discount codes to the 5-week course in the boot camp. So the 5-week course starts on Monday. And yeah, boot camp starts in May. But yeah, we'll email everyone here that stuff within the next couple hours. And then recording we'll share out I think tomorrow probably or later today.
Yeah.
I just have to wait for Zoom to get this all set up.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks
everybody.
everyone. See ya.